Oh, I just wanted to do it just for my reasons. Oh, okie dokie dokie dokie. What's going on, guys? This is Suave Razor Blade here, Demon Bounty Hunter of Fire Pro, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of my stuff, a little bit of what I basically do, and I know this is probably pretty much of a change, and what I do instead of typing, I rather want to do this instead of typing it. So you might be seeing me posting this on YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, and most importantly, I think one of my favorite websites, Critical Club. So basically what I do is basically just creating superstars, making matchups. I've been doing them for a good 17 years. So it's been a little bit of a tough decision what I wanted to do, but I think for doing so, I want to decide, let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and make it happen. And I wish I would have had my hat, and I think I may have one. I'm gonna sit back down. There, much better. You can see my head well. Hope you do. So, reach that out of the way. You didn't see that. And to make sure before I forget.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes. Before I forget, I did watch your channel there, Hans. I do know those two superstars that you actually used in Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. And the 2R is particularly situated. On your left side, you have Mitsuharu Misawa. And on the right side, with the orange attire originally, would be Kenta Kobashi. Those would be the two that you used in the Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, which is also from the Noah stable, which even though they called it Nova, representing, or should I say Supernova, gives you a little bit of a clue, because the symbol is there. The symbol is right on there, just that it reads Supernova instead of Noah. So you'd be surprised what you can have on each of the brandings. So before I get off my hair here, let me throw on a little bit of an edit just to show you what I basically do. How would I be able to put it into mainframes here, because a lot of the videos I see out there within the past, since I believe when cause.ws was around, you can actually submit your superstars on there. Everybody gets to see them. It's like, oh, that's great. But if you don't have like actual videos, like, okay, let's just go section by section. Here's the problem. Once you check up that video, half the time you have to keep pausing because they're going in complete fast mode. They're like having a rough time. They don't have much time left, and they have to go like a complete long run. Like, for example, I'm on my stable. Everything's all default. And what you're going to be noticing, each one is a little bit different. And I can actually understand because I love it when it gives them clues to who these people are. And just to make sure if you want my full experience, Critical Club will actually tell you what they have. And I will easily put some links down in the description for complete full names review, which if you want I can actually do it on the next videos in mere time, or you want to get to see them of who these people actually are. So for example, we're on AWG, which if you notice, each one is a little bit different. So Outlaws, you have Raven Gush and Crazy Rose, which actually Crazy Rose, the drunk character with a huge body, is none other than Razor Ramon. When you look at his attires are a little bit different. Just doesn't have the hair, it doesn't have like normal beings, so you have to use some decent parts to make him a little bit more decency. Raven Gush is Kevin Nash, the backstage boss. And his too is also a bit different. You'll be noticing the colors are going to be a little different. So I'll place him on, and you can see, if you look on his character, it's not black. What you can be seeing, it's a little bit grayish. But you look underneath of that. His shoes are black, but his topper part is not even close what you think it is. So it's kind of like, I would say, a little bit gray-greenish to me. It's a bit around there. And then you move on to the next. Pretty much the same thing, but his hair is longer. Nice wavy little long hair. Then you have the nice red. Oh, the nice red. I love the red. I just basically love to see what it looks like. And each time you get to know some little bit of detail, and I'll teach you a little bit on where you need to go with that. Same thing with this. Now this would actually be perfecter because you have more of that luscious little combination you got going. So for this, we're going to move to, say for this for example, I'm going to keep this as what it is. Now each stuff you're going to be seeing is a little bit decency. Have a little hard time to actually seeing this, I'll actually kind of tell you. So first part will be body custom. So this is basically all your presets. So just like what you're going to be seeing from other wrestling games. Other games will probably have all the presets. They'll have the preset movesets. They'll have the preset of some entrances. Like for example, they'll even have the preset superstar. This would actually kind of be a little bit of a start. So if I put it on preset 1, it goes by a different superstar. And then you scroll down the line. It'd be the same person, but it has different attires. So you're thinking like this. It'll be like a baseball outfit. It's like, oh, I can actually know what I can use that for. But who exactly? Who is exactly what I'm trying to refer with? So then you're scrolling down. Oh, this will be perfect like Eric Bischoff. This would be perfect like Eric Bischoff. That I can actually see. That I can actually see right there. But the problem is I need his hair. Well, actually I need his full head, for example. His little head is possible. I'm not saying ugly head. That's Skull Trauma's thing. That is Skull Trauma's. He said finding the ugliest head possible to make the magic happen. That's his idea. That is his way. This could possibly with Kurt Angle. Or anybody else we actually see. Judo, karate do. Now, okay, I will never say that. Maybe. But this is basically for that. An MMA, UFC fighter, kickboxer. Might be some ideas. But even also, before I forget, the tights. Does it give you a little bit of a clue? Like, this kind of reminds you of Goldberg. Goldberg's tights with the black with the white striping of the tights. Gives you a bit of an idea. A boxer. This will give you some clues to each clothing part. Sumo belt. I kind of love the idea. I kind of love what I see. So you're looking at for some parts. Now we're getting down to the lady, which I think I may have spotted her before in some other people edits. I do like that. I don't remember her name, but I do know the paper. I do know some head lists, so I got some long ways to go. I still have some time to kind of learn some heads. Like I said, I remember this for 17 years, so it takes me somewhere else, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this part, I'll do that part, and I'm learning from everybody's teachings. Even though I haven't talked to them, but I still have from their teachings, and it kind of gave me some learnings. Another one. Very nice attire. Special guest referee with the fancy red shoes, by the way. Now, who do you think anybody remembers the name of the red shoe referee that was on the other Fire Pro Wrestling game? I'm sure there's an obvious little clue from that description. Then you have some other people that you may kind of know, may not know. Headlights would tell. But also keep an eye out for the colors. That's mostly what you're looking for, because if you're looking for a decent color, there's some people that have the color gradients that you're looking for. This is basically a little bit of viewpoint. Like this, for example. This is the nice blue color. That nice, decent blue color that you're looking for. And then you're using that as a gradient, for example. Or if you're using a gradient for a skin color. There's some different little ways how you can do that, which I can actually show you. Kamala. Now, there's something who is unexpectedly on here. Which this may be the other one that's been on some other Fire Pro games. I would love to try. I gotta get some few emulators to actually try out each Fire Pro game. Which also, I can also do other created movesets. I can do created superstars. It's a bit of a learning curve. I know everybody does learn. Everybody knows that, but I can still just bring my teachings out. I can do a little bit of some odd and enders. Some things I still are actually learning nowadays. I'm not a person with mods, because I'll tell you the story on that, because it's not a good story, but it's also a learning curve, because I guess it pretty much tells you I'm mostly do like original stuff, because when I bought the Fire Pro Wrestling Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. That's what I was trying to say, not Fire Pro Wrestling World, because that was about a couple of years ago now. 2 or 3 years. I could be wrong. But anyways, when Fire Pro Wrestling Return came out, it's like a whole new thing to me. So I was like, okay, let's see if I try the buttons out. So I try to know how to create a wrestler. And I'm starting to like, okay, I'm knowing the buttons. But then there's some stuff that didn't quite make sense, but other times it does. So you're looking at between half and half from the book. But you're learning stuff on your own. Because in Fire Pro, what they say, when you're playing, it's all about timing. So you're not doing like this. Well, not like this one I'm doing, but I'm just saying. You're not going like quickly faster on your fingers. You're just like, oh, come on. I need to get this guy down. Fire Pro Return is all about timing. So you're just like timing yourself. Start with just a small part first. Work your way to the big until you hit the big finisher. So you're just timing it. You're timing it and not just like jolting it. You're not jolting, bouncing back and forth. So it wouldn't make sense. So moving on with that. And about within the mods. Because like I said, I'm basically like original because I'm not very good with mods. But I would love to learn. So maybe there are some people out there that can teach me how to do that. Because at times when I'm doing game class with GameU, because that's what also I've been doing. I wanted to be like a, game designer, but it takes some time. So I do, a little bit of game designing. I do a little bit of modeling with WOMP, which I'll easily show you now and then if I manage to do some videos for that. And basically with some other stuff. But this kind of tells you I'm just do like original stuff, so it's not easy for me to just throw in like a mod. It's like, oh, I like this. Let's just throw right in there. Let's just throw right in. But I'm definitely keeping it Carolzilla by heart. Kind of stinks to be me. Pretty much that little odd and ender, if you know what I mean. But in colors, this is where it's a bit different for Fire Pro Wrestling World. I love it. I love the color gradients when they first kind of start learning. So like let's do with heads. So throw this up, and you could just change the head. So even though I somehow did that a little bit, but you can see there is about from where from 1 all the way down to 558. Ooh, especially that bear. Not to be reasonable, but I do kind of like the pattern of this, what this bear head is. Ooh, I like that. And if you press circle, what's happening down there? Because you're seeing both layer 1 and layer 2 popping up. This indicates from what both your layers are from these. So like if you're putting a bandana or something on and then you're putting something else to that, to make sure if it fits, you just pop it on to the character. For what you're using from the PS2, you're basically pressing it with the circle button, which unfortunately I'm not playing it with a PS2. See, this is my PS2 controller. And the one I'm using is a Logitech controller, which basically was used for Xbox. But to me, I'm pretty much know the buttons, so it's pretty much easy for me. So pressing the B button is the same thing you're pressing the circle. That's how I kind of see it. But another thing is just to get it out of the way. I'm not a drama king. I'm no drama queen either. So let's get on with that. So short-lived story. I never do drama stuff. That's their little routine, but I'm staying with my way. So, moving back to this. When I press B or circle, you notice both layer 1 and layer 2 lights up. That shows you what the layers are. And when that happens, you're trying out what works with what head that you're using. Even if you're using like a person with no hair, get a complete start with that. That actually kind of works out in a way. So to get up to the gradients area, all you have to do is press the X button on your controller. And this kind of just shows up that. And you can just X out of that. Pressing the Y button, which also the triangle button, takes you from that. And the B in the circle. This is where the real fun kind of starts. I do have a little bit of color fun with this. So like for an example, you would notice most of them will have 4 squares for the one, so it counts for just a simple attire run. The 3 squares are mostly for, just additional colors. Like if you have something with a mask, it'll give it an additional color to the design of your mask. For that example, the skin works with 6. So to prove you how this works, with this, you can easily go gradient sample. Now to do that, this is normally your basic skin color trick. So you're looking at this and you're determining what skin color you're looking for. Even if it's deep, a little grayish, or a little bit brighter. Or you want to give it a nice little suntan. Or, well, some people that I love with this color, with some special Hall of Famers. And then you have a turquoise looking color skin, like you see someone from Ripley's Believe It or Not. Fine with me. But this is also perfect because I can use a little bit of this sample. So let's do that, and I can just default this, no problem. So to do this one, you press the little X button, or A, and it'll show you each of the gradients. You have R for the red, G for the green, B for the blue. And the limit to each one goes up to 31. But if you're doing like logos, you're doing like your rings or something, those max out to 255. And it'll give you multiple colors. But how would this gives you 31 to the limit compared to the 255 for making logos? Pretty much a little bit of DC question. But what you also notice, if you look carefully on the character, it's giving you where each of the detailing spots you're looking at. So if I move, let's get that out of the way, and then press Y or triangle on your button. No, not that. B in circle. There it is. This will tell you where each little gradient spot is. And it's not easy as you think. Because if I would do this for a good special cause for this new game, I would love to actually do this with my other superstars. But to do that, you have 4 colors for attires, but you have 6 for skin. And that's not easy when you're doing skin colors. But if you're doing attire colors, that's a whole different story. Those are easy. Skin color won't be easy, so I recommend kind of just sticking it with just a regular decent color with that. So, the other little trick I'll teach you is basically what is up with radiation. Now this is very important when you're doing your superstars, but you don't know exactly what they're talking about, and you see an arrow. It doesn't mean I'm saying, oh, this technically means you're doing both. That is not the case. What this actually means, that in gradation, you're using colors on both sides as the base to fill the gradient, to fill with gradients. And this will give you a bit of a clue distance. So like for example, I'm going to change my first skin color with this gradient. So it'll be 601. And you can see why I'm actually changing. Now it's actually starting to turn like in the purple spot. And now I'm lowering it to using red color. And then we have 2646. Which it would be right at the end here. Okay, so now you have from the base color and the end color, and you can see it from each of the parts now. So now what I'm going to do, I will then press my X button, Or if you move one of your analog sticks to your right, this will give you a wheel button. And it kind of reminds you of a bell. Like it's ringing the bell for the ring. But I don't necessarily kind of use this, but it's a fun feature. I like that. So now you go to number 2. So now when you're on this, press OK. And what's going to happen is, from both the colors I put on from the first gradient box to the last gradient box, and it will fill the last 4 gradients that's in the middle. And when I press OK, it changes to a new color. So now his skin is fully red. And for what you see on colors now, it represents his colors. So all the colors that you have trouble time with, it gives you a new full color skin. And you can always experiment for more. So if you start off with 2 little gradients from the one side darker wise, and then give it a lighter color for the last one, and let it show known. Show it to make it what it looks like for at the end of it. Almost like what you kind of find for, paint gradients. Print those out. They'll give you a little bit of a little bit decent color, but it doesn't show like 31. Make it like exactly to that color as possible, and then work with that color. So next, same as always, you got your gradient samples. So you have mostly all your colors like you actually do with your palettes. Mostly for everything that is light, decent in the middle, and your darker colors. So use these wisely if you have these as a start. And then work your way, just experiment with the other colors. This will give you a bit of an advantage to your actual color scheme. Okay, that actually works better. I don't like that. But, losing track. So now, and everything you see here, just like in Fire Pro Wrestling World, you'll find some of the original parts from the Fire Pro Wrestling Returns in this little area. And yes, you do happen to find cat ears. Yeah, they're in here. There's cat ears in here. With some earmuffs. Even though they're earmuffs, they're especially in good use. And I'll show you some of the characters who actually have the earmuffs. Some of which that you find on elves. Some of them you have on some type of video game that you remember. Some of them that may have been on DC, Marvel. Some of which is from other movies. Sci-fi features. Maybe perhaps Spockhead himself. Those are some of the people that were also kind of inspired on this. And finally, just so you... Well, actually... Yeah. And then color group. I forgot all about color groups. Anytime you're trying to get back to your color but you can't remember it, if you go to number 4... Oh, I forgot. It doesn't work with the skin, but it doesn't work for that. However, if you press it again when you're on the 4 gradients, it shows you the entire gradients that each one you use. So anytime that you're stuck on something and try to get back on that color, go to gradient groups, and if you find one that you were looking for, use it. It helps. It really helps with that. And finally, just so you know, I'm not like any other people who wants to do something like I mentioned about some people that do like quick videos like, oh hey, welcome to the show everybody. Today I'm going to show you this in a quick look. But be sure you're going fast. sure you'll be able to catch up? No. No. It's like you're doing this. That's not me. That would never be me. And I do have some superstars that I created, and I had to pause every time, and it bothers me. It really bothers me. I can't do it. So then I'll throw that as a default. There it is. Back to default. I'm going back. And now what you see when I go back, it's now a custom. But if you don't want to have it no more and want to create it back again, you can always go back to that, or press your square button or Xbox, whatever it is, as long as you're pressing that little blue X or the square button. And there's two options. You could either move your appearance so you can move it from where it is, it goes back to the default, but you're moving the attire somewhere else. So like if I'm moving it and moving it across, it's now moved. But now my default's now there, just that I moved the attire somewhere else. Because I rather want the attire there for a change. But like I said, if you don't want it anymore, press the X button again. Go to number 1 for default appearance. Set the default appearance. Press OK. And it's back to default. Plain and simple. Easy and said and done. So now, and plus in some little bit of clues along the way. Like for example, the biggest man in the entire world. France. The mountain. Rosmoth. Only relies to Andre the Giant. That gives you a clue. You know exactly who it is. But if you want to change, press that X button again, and you can change it of who you're looking for. So, and like I said, each one will give you a little bit of a clue. And as long as you're checking the appearances to each one, like I said, Kevin Nash was a backstage boss. Crazy Rose, drunk character with a huge body. It's all here. Then you have everybody else. Oh God. There's so many people I remember in this. Especially, I am very surprised Great Khali is in this game too. Even though I seen him maybe, I would say he came out 2007 or 2008 when he debuted at WWE. Maybe it could be 2006. I could be wrong. And anybody else I see. And you can always change around their heels, their faces. All the retires will go in here. And it's crazy to know why the retired is there. Well, just like as before when you see on Fire Pro Wrestling World, you can't be able to play them unless you move them back to the stable. And once you bring them back to the stable, they're there. So like for example, if I move Carlos Clauser and move him to retired. So now he's there. I'm pressing this button. He cannot be pressed because he's in a retired spot. But to make sure you move him back, transfer again. And then scroll down to find his little spot that he came out of. He's all the way down there. I know that for a fact. The Freelance of Legends. Comes right back. And he's back where he is. Back where he belongs. And for the game record, we have 327 wrestlers. All basically defaulted. The rest of the 500 is what you guys want to create. So for this, I can actually show you how to create some stuff within some few examples. Also, if you want to make anthropomorphics, you can do that too. But it's not easy as you think. With Fire Pro Wrestling World, you can easily make parts. And I've seen anthropomorphic parts and they're just flooding with them. I'm loving it. Fully respect. 100% fully respect that. However, for Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, they're not easy as you think. So, to do that, and I'll show you how. First, you want to actually create new. That's the first part. Create new. And as you're pressing X, now before you make group, make your original first. That's the most important. So now, what I want to do, English, and pressing number 2, it gives you the symbols. And yes, there is a lot that you can do, which I know there's some keyboards out there that doesn't have any of some of these symbols. Well, almost all of them. And sorry, I don't think anybody would have a dagger-like symbol onto their name. Pretty much simple. So what I'm going to do, erase it, and put Anthros. Sorry, unfortunately you can't use it with keyboard. You have to use it with a paddle here. Anthro. Anthropomorph. And then pressing R1 or L1 to switch. And then this again. I'm going to put and then I'm going to put Anthro again. And then press that. And then exit will change. And as you can see, now it's there. Now you can fully say the original's there. But to make a group, press the square button or X button again. Create new. And now you want to create group. This, I'm just going to call it a roster. I'm calling it a roster for that reason. So to do this, I'm going to put